Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we'll continue with our third unit, which is titled If It Hadn't Happened. Our lesson today is the first part from the reading lesson in your books, page 40 and 41. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 40, 41, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started. You were supposed to do this exercise from the conversation lesson in your books, page 108. This exercise is exercise N. Complete the chart. List the inventions that have been important to you. Tell why each one of these has been important. So we will think about any invention. A remote control. You can think about the car. You can think about any invention. Let's speak about inventions rather than explorations. Then why is it important to you? And this time we will focus on the F clauses. Let's get started with the first one. I have thought about a remote control. If the remote control hadn't been invented, people would have to get up and change channels manually while watching TV or television. This is the F condition. I started with the F, then hadn't been invented. And here I have used the past perfect tense, had not been, then after it will be the been will be followed by the past participle tense of the verb. The result will, instead of will, we will have would have to do. Any other invention? We can think about the air conditioner. If air conditioners hadn't been invented, it wouldn't have been possible for people to live in very hot or very cold areas. Start with F, hadn't been invented. I started with the past perfect tense. Then would, this time wouldn't have been. People wouldn't have been able to live in very hot areas. Another invention, I will speak about the internet. If the internet hadn't been made available to the public, we wouldn't have been able to communicate by email. So this time, if it is not everyone, it's just for limited people. If the internet hadn't been made available, so had been made, then we wouldn't have been able to communicate by email. For all of these inventions, we went to the past, cancel a certain thing, then come back to the present tense and imagine our lives today without that thing. Okay, for our lesson today, the reading lesson, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to read an article, you will be able to give the main idea, and you will be able to recognize some new vocabulary. So we're going to read just for comprehension, for the main idea. We're now going to focus on details today. Let's get started with this. At the beginning, before we start reading, let me ask you these questions. Do you like the idea of reading newspapers nowadays? Do you like reading newspapers, regardless of where you read them? For me, I like to follow the news based on what comes upon in the newspapers. They will update us with the news, what is happening. And they are giving us other information other than what is happening. We're having many pages that will make us updated with the latest news. How do you read newspapers? Do you read them online or you prefer the paper ones? Some people are still like the idea of holding newspapers and reading them. However, others and many of them nowadays like the idea of browsing through the newspaper online, following them on social media maybe. This is about newspapers. How are they organized? The concept of, let's say, a newspaper, how is it actually organized? Is it like pages? Each one page we will call it. It is specific for a certain purpose. One of them is about the sport, news, local and international ones. Certain pages are for fun, others for health. So they are organized into columns, and each one page is specific for one purpose. So the first is different than the last page. If you like, maybe the sport column or the sport page, maybe you will find it in the middle. So you will open it and you will find all the sport information into there. Okay, so what is the first column or page that you read in a magazine or newspaper? How about you? Which one is your favorite page or column that you will never open a newspaper or a magazine without reading it? Is it the sport one, the local, or the international news? It could be anyone. Some of these columns are medical column. What do they show you in the medical column? Any latest news that is related to health. New inventions in the field of medicine. Maybe new contributions what they have done in the field of medicine. And those people, everyone is interested, and those who would write in there will be doctors and specialists. Another one, we're having the advice column. The advice column is where people are going to send their problems and other people are going to reply to them. People from the newspaper or from the magazine. Experts, according to the problem itself, the ones who are going to reply to them. And we're having the sport one, which is related to sport news, health, fitness, and other things. Choose one of them and tell why would you like this one rather than the other. Are you more like you like the sport, or you like to know more about people's problems? Okay, now in your books, page 40 and 41, do you ever read advice columns in newspapers and magazines? We will specify today, we will read only about the advice column. Do you read the advice column in a newspaper? Maybe for me, I will say yes, I like reading it. I feel that it's interesting to read about others people's problems, and maybe something would apply to me, and I will feel that I'm not alone in this one. Or I will say, no, I don't find it interesting at all. I'm not interested in it. Okay, what kind of help do they give in the advice column? If you can get to any magazine or a newspaper, just flip through it to the advice column and ask yourself, what kind of advice do they give? Advice related to education, sometimes to health and fitness, other times they are related to raising children or whatever. Whatever they will receive, experts are going to reply to them. They will tell them what to do. So it is a helpful column or page for everyone who is having a certain problem. Maybe you will find the solution for your problem within the paper. Okay, in your books, page 40 and 41, I want you to scan through the text and answer the following questions. When we're saying scan, the scanning is the whole thing. You now focus on details, just the general idea. What is the title for the text, or the title for this one? It is actually Mario's advice column. So from the title you can tell that we are going to read parts from an advice column, and the name for this advice column is Mario. Looks like we're having someone whose name is Mario and he's giving advice to his readers. How many letters do we have in there? We're having actually two. One on page 40 and the other one is on page 41. What do the pictures show? On page 40 we're having Mario's photo, and in the following picture we're having here a driver. However, he's not driving any car, a limo. What is a limo? A fancy long car. So a limo driver on page 41. Looks like we're going to listen and read about a story which is related to a limo driver. Okay, now both pages. Look at the closing and predict what the letters may be about. We're having one on page 40, the other one is on page 41. Let's read the very end, the signature. The first one was signed with a confused friend. Looks like that this is a problem that is related to whom? Friends relationship, friendship. Maybe we'll have a fight between two friends and they are asking Mario what to do. The other one was signed honest but wondering why. Looks like someone who was honest, who did a good thing, however, in reply he didn't get what he was expecting. Okay, let's read and we will get to know whether we were right or not. Let's get started with the first one. The first letter on page 40, you will listen to the letter and you will tell what is the main idea of the letter. Let's listen together.
Dear Mario, I am writing to tell you a story. It's too late for you to tell me what to do now, but maybe you could tell me what I should have done. Your advice might be useful to others in similar situations. My best friend borrowed some money from me when we were out shopping at the mall 2 weeks ago. I was happy to let him have it, as I had saved my allowance over a few weeks and had more than I needed. He wanted to buy a DVD. Then later I loaned him some more money because we decided to eat at a pizza restaurant. The total, including the DVD, came to $25. I don't mind helping out a friend, if I can, so I didn't think much of it. Last week, we were at the mall and I needed to buy some shoes. They were rather expensive and I asked him if he could give me some of the money I had loaned him. He gave me a very funny look, threw a $20 bill at me, and walked away. I was really upset. So, I decided to call him when I got back. He told me that he never wanted to have anything to do with me again. He said I had embarrassed him at the shop and that I shouldn't have asked him for the money in public. He thought I had done it on purpose because I didn't trust him. I am really devastated. I've lost my best friend over $25. What do you think I should have done? Should I have just not said anything? Would that have been the right thing to do? A confused friend.
Okay, so what is the main idea in here, in this letter? The problem is actually related to we're having money problem with a friend. So we're having two friends, they're having an issue related to the money. One of them gave an amount of money to the other. However, when he asked for the money back, there we got the issue or the problem. Okay, so let's continue in here. Now this is a timeline and you are supposed to, you will put the numbers according to the chronological order. The very first thing that happened to the writer, then the second, third, until we have the sixth. Okay, let's listen again to the story and you will underline, put numbers, put the story in the correct order. Let's listen.
Dear Mario, I am writing to tell you a story. It's too late for you to tell me what to do now, but maybe you could tell me what I should have done. Your advice might be useful to others in similar situations. My best friend borrowed some money from me when we were out shopping at the mall 2 weeks ago. I was happy to let him have it, as I had saved my allowance over a few weeks and had more than I needed. He wanted to buy a DVD. Then later I loaned him some more money because we decided to eat at a pizza restaurant. The total, including the DVD, came to $25. I don't mind helping out a friend, if I can, so I didn't think much of it. Last week, we were at the mall and I needed to buy some shoes. They were rather expensive and I asked him if he could give me some of the money I had loaned him. He gave me a very funny look, threw a $20 bill at me, and walked away. I was really upset. So, I decided to call him when I got back. He told me that he never wanted to have anything to do with me again. He said I had embarrassed him at the shop and that I shouldn't have asked him for the money in public. He thought I had done it on purpose because I didn't trust him. I am really devastated. I've lost my best friend over $25. What do you think I should have done? Should I have just not said anything? Would that have been the right thing to do? A confused friend.
Okay. So let's put the story in the correct order. The very first thing that I had saved my allowance over a few weeks. So I've got the money. Then 2 weeks ago, my friend borrowed some money when we were shopping. He took almost $20. Then I loaned him some more money at a pizza restaurant. So another time, twice. One time he got for the DVD, the other time he got it for the restaurant. Then I asked him if he could give me some of the money that I had loaned him. I needed the money, so can you give me some of the money that I loaned you? Then what happened? He gave me a funny look, threw a $20 bill at me, and walked away. Looked like that he didn't like that the writer had asked him for the money. Then the writer didn't feel okay, so he decided to call him when he got back. I will call my friend and check what was wrong. Then how was the reply? He said that I had embarrassed him. You embarrassed me when you asked me for the money in public. So the writer later wrote to Mario. So this is the organization of the story. Okay, what should the writer's friend have done? Let's imagine that I asked for some money from my friend twice. And when my friend asked me for the money, I felt like I was embarrassed for taking it from him. So I will tell, he should have thanked him for his kindness. He should have been very thankful for his friend for loaning or borrowing him some money. Also, he should have given him his money back. It is all his right, unless it was a gift. He should have given it all for him. What would you do if you were? Let's put ourselves in the place of both of them. What if you were the writer? You gave your friend some money, then they felt bad for giving you the money back. For me, I would have called and asked for the money. Also, I wouldn't have asked for the money in public. I will ask him for the money, however, it wouldn't be in public in front of everyone. I would have asked for the money. I will do it. I will ask. Or I would do just like the writer, the confused friend. How about if you were the writer's friend? I took the money from my friend. I borrowed it. For me, I wouldn't have asked for a loan. I will never take money from others. Or I would have given the money back as soon as I could. Or I would have been thankful for the help. And you can say, I would have felt embarrassed. I will feel just like him. I will feel embarrassed for being asked for the money in public in front of everyone. Okay, what advice would we give the writer? Let's put ourselves at Mario's place. We will say, you shouldn't embarrass others in public. If you want to ask for the money, you could have asked by a message, texting him, or calling him. You have to consider others' feelings. And also, you shouldn't lend your money that you need. If you need the money, don't lend it to anyone. Okay, what moral lesson can we learn from the story? From any story, we can learn something for ourselves. What can we learn? We can tell that a friend in need is a friend indeed. He is a good friend for giving the money to his friend. And he who is quick to borrow is slow to pay. So always expect that the others are not going to pay you the money back. How about the second story on page 41? We're having a different one. And this time you will listen for the main idea. What is the problem that we are listening to? Listen.
Dear Mario, I'm a limo driver, and people leave all kinds of things in my limousine: scarves, packages, and even shoes. Last Saturday night I picked up this wealthy man at his hotel and drove him to a prestigious charity awards ceremony. The man must have been a millionaire, judging by the way he was dressed. The next day, when I was cleaning the inside of the car, I noticed something shining. The man's gold and diamond pocket watch must have fallen out of his pocket, and it slipped behind the seat. So I called the hotel where the man was staying, explained what had happened, and arranged to return the watch. The man was extremely grateful. He told me that it was a valuable family heirloom, given to him by his grandfather, and he went on to praise my honesty. Then he opened his wallet, took out a $10 bill, and gave it to me. I refused, but he insisted. $10. Can you believe it? I should have kept the watch. Since then I've been thinking of what I could have done with the money. I could have bought my own limousine or started my own business. Did I do the right thing? Honest but wondering why?
Okay, so what title can we give to the story? The main idea of the story? We can tell that in here, a missing watch. The limo driver, the honest limo driver. So in here, we're speaking about a missing watch. Let's continue in here. Okay, so if we want to retell the story, the first thing that happened, I drove a wealthy man to a prestigious charity awards ceremony. The first thing that happened, that he took him from the hotel to the ceremony. Then I was cleaning my car the following day and found a gold and diamond pocket watch. He found the watch. Then I called the hotel and arranged to return the watch. He wanted to give the watch back to the rich man. Then the man was grateful and told him that it is a valuable family heirloom. So he was so happy that he gave it to him, because it is not something that he bought from his money. It is that he inherited from his grandparents. So something that is valuable and it is inherited. Then by the end, he went on a praise and my honesty, and he only gave me a $10 bill. So that is a very expensive, let's say a very expensive watch. So I deserve to get more. Okay, what should the rich man have done? If you were the rich man, he should have thanked the limo driver better, more than a $10. He should have given him more money, more than a $10. How about what would you do if you were the limo driver? I wouldn't have returned the watch. I will take it for myself. I would have refused the money. I wouldn't take a $10. And I wouldn't have taken the watch. If I were the rich man, I would have praised the driver's honesty. Maybe I would have given him maybe $100 more than a 10. I would have been more thankful for him. What advice would you give the limo driver, the honest man? You shouldn't have regret your honesty. It's good to be an honest person. You should be proud of what you have done. and you should work hard to get yourself a limousine, not waiting for the others to give it to you. What should the limo driver have done? He should have given more money, and he should have bought him a limousine rather than a $10. The moral lesson that we can learn, we can say that we shouldn't expect a payback out of honesty, and we should praise and be generous with whoever helps us. For a fun fact, that the advice columns are always available even online. You can find topics about health, cooking, household, repairs, and jobs. Okay, for your homework, check your books on page 105, exercise J. You will look at the picture and try to describe it. Exercise J in your books, page 105. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.